We are on cycle 2. As we read this, I want you to continue to look for that recurring language, especially in this last chapter. Follow along on page 174. What Loretta said. That was a year ago. I hid in the down under for days and days and kept the door closed, which is why I missed the funeral and the fair Gwen going away. Graham told me about it afterwards, how she couldn't stand to live in the house with Kevin gone, and who could blame her? Graham threatened to unscrew my bedroom door, but he never did. He just kept saying I should come out for Graham's sake, and sometimes she'd come down and I and say I should come out for Grim's sake, and so on and so forth until finally I gave up and came out. I don't know if this makes any sense, but for a long time I felt like I was a balloon and somebody had let the air out of me. I didn't care if I ever got the air back, because what does it really matter if we're all going to die in the end? That's how down I was feeling, and sorry for myself. Grimm tried to tell me it isn't how long you've got that matters, it's what you do with the time you have. But that sounded so lame and puny next to Freak dying that I just didn't want to hear it. This one day, just before school was supposed to start, I was moping around the backyard and thinking again how pointless and stupid everything was. And Grim comes over and he says, "You know what? Most of us go all the way through life and we never have a friend like Kevin, so maybe you should count yourself lucky." "Yeah, right," I say. "Suit yourself," he says. "But let's get one thing straight. You're going back to school if I have to hitch a rope to the bumper and drag you there. Is that clear?" So I went and hated every minute of it. And I especially hated how people kept feeling sorry for me as if it was me who died. I want to pause here and I want to take a look at the tone. You remember that attitude towards characters and events that Max is giving off. Um, you might notice that the tone he has right now is very similar to the tone he had at the beginning of the book. Very negative, very sarcastic. That kind of slowed down just a little bit in the middle back when Freak and him were having a really good time. We see that coming back. All right, we're going to start right here with so. So I went and I hated every minute of it, and I especially hated how people kept feeling sorry for me as if it was me who died. Finally, one time, even Tony D came up to me and said it was a shame what happened, and I could see that he really meant it. And I just blew up and told him that if he ever felt sorry for me again, I'd put him head first in the mill pond and pound him down into the mud like a fence post. So we're enemies again, which is the way I like it. Not too long after that, this was winter by it was winter by then. I saw Loretta Lee in the street. She still had on a neck brace and you could smell booze on her breath. But what do you expect? A miracle just because she lost her head and acted good for a couple minutes? Anyhow, Loretta sees me and she says, "Did you hear about Gwen? She's in California and she's got this new boyfriend. His name is Rick, and they're crazy about each other. Ain't that good news?" "I guess so." "Take it from me," she says, "it is. So what are you doing these days?" "Nothing." She gives me this long look and she goes, "Nothing is a drag, kid. Think about it." I thought about it all the way home. That night I pulled the pyramid box from under the bed and got the empty book out of the pyramid. And I'm thinking, who are you kidding, Maxwell Kane? You haven't got a brain. That's the truth, the whole truth, the unvanquished truth, is how Freak would say it. There's a huge reoccurring line right there. This line here, the "you haven't got a brain," um, we see that almost word for word from the first chapter of our book. So what's the importance of that? The fact that they bring that back. Let's keep reading and find out. Going on to page 177. So I wrote the unvanquished stuff down and then kept on going for months and months until it was spring again, and the world was really and truly green all over. So that we also saw earlier, the world being green all over by the time we got here, which I guess should be which I guess should be the end. I'm feeling okay about remembering things. And now That I've written a book? Who knows? I might even read a few. No big deal. All right, so let's take a look at those reoccurring phrases. If we go to this line, the last paragraph of our book, I want you to consider this line in bold by the time we got here, which I guess should be the end. I'm feeling okay about remembering things. Consider the line in bold. Who does Maxwell mean by we? And when he says we got here, where is he talking about? Because where can be a time too. What happened? Let's go on to our second question. Recall that on page 156, Kevin said, "The world is really and truly green all over." Why might Max repeat that sentence in the novel's final paragraph? I want you to consider both the literal and figurative meanings. So back then it was talking about how it was springtime. Spring has sprung. What color is the world in springtime? I want you to look out your windows. What color are the trees right now? So is the world literally green? And then let's talk about like the deeper meaning, the figurative meaning. What does spring bring? What happens in the spring? What starts to grow? It's a new beginning. Do you think that this is a new beginning for Max? Tell me your thoughts. When you're done, move on to cycle 3.